Okay, so today I'm just going to be doing a quick tutorial on how to plot an airfoil like this using Python. So we're going to use airfoiltools.com. So you can go to this website and search through a bunch of airfoils and pick one. And then you'll click on the airfoil, so I'm using this AG16, and you'll click this button, Send to Airfoil Plotter. And that will take you to this window where you'll see CSV file of coordinates. So once you click that, it will automatically open a CSV file of all the data in Excel. And what I usually do at this point is I'll take all this data and words and delete it. I'll delete all this and just keep the airfoil data, and then if you scroll down you'll see there's also data for the camber line. So I'll take all this data and put it in a different CSV file in a different Excel sheet, just because it makes it a lot more simple, and then I usually code the chord line in the Python file itself. So you don't have to do this. You can skip lines and parse through the CSV file through Python, but I just find it easiest to separate them out. So, for example, this is what my file for just the airfoil data looks like. So I just put the data straight in, and then I have another one for the camber line. So then I'll open up my code. So initially, the first thing I'm going to do is just import the basic shape of the airfoil. So no surprise, I use import CSV, and then I initialize two empty arrays, X and Y for all the data for the airfoil, and then I'll use with open, type the exact name of the CSV file I want to access, and then use these read commands to go through each line in the CSV file and just add all the data to these arrays. So now at the end of this block of code, these arrays should be completely filled up with all the data from the airfoil. And then next, so like I said, I put in all the camber line data, just the numbers, no words, into a different CSV file, because it just makes it a lot more clear to me. So I initialized two more arrays, A and B, and then same kind of deal. You're just going to go through the CSV read every line and then append all that data to your two other arrays. And then, like I said, I just put the code for the chord line straight in here, so this is the exact same as the data that was given at the bottom of this sheet. So 0 and 100. And then we can finally move on to actually plotting it. So as usual, we'll import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT, and then you can use the label keyword to access your plot and create this legend in the corner. So I have chord line, airfoil, and camber. You can also change the color of the lines, make them dotted, etc., which it's super easy to look up the different plot functions you can play with. So if I wanted to change the colors or make this a dashed line, we could do that. And then I didn't label my axes, but I just set limits, and you can play with these numbers to see what looks best with your plot. So if I were to change this figure size to 50 and then run it, it's really hard to see. So that's just something you can play around with. And then I use this line here to actually access the legend. So if I take out this location and rerun it, I type upper center, then it'll move the legend for me. So you can play around with that. There's also, it's pretty easy to put it outside the actual plot too if it's in the way. And then just the last two lines, plt.grid. That's not super necessary, but I think it looks nice. But if I delete that, then I just get a blank graph in the background, and then plt.show is just the final command to actually produce the plot. So you can see that's the plot of the airfoil I made, and this was the original airfoil, so they look pretty similar. I could play around with this and elongate it, but yeah, it's pretty simple. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial.